Hi there, thank you for joining today's workout. We're going to get started right away. So I want you to come down to your mat and we'll start by sitting and we're going to roll down very purposefully. So once you're down here, I want you to think about creating a C curve in that back, all right? So I'm rounding that back. And what's going to happen is we're going to roll down, and I want you to try to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae and feel each bend in through that spine as you come down. So really trying to articulate and feel each one. Now you got to engage the core to hold yourself and control it on the way down. And the part that's the hardest and takes the longest is that lower spine, because our spine is so contracted as we get to the base of it. All right, so I want you to take your time with it. And two options with your arms: you could trace your legs with your hands all the way down, or you could hold your arms up like so. All right, so C curve to start. Engage that deep inner core. All right, so you can cue that by engaging that pelvic floor like a Kegel. Cues that deep inner core. You can do that multiple times as you need to as you come down. Pull the belly button into the spine and start rolling down. Try to feel vertebrae by vertebrae, one at a time. Bending, bending, a little bit more each time, engaging and re-engaging that core. Good. Vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way down. Very good. All right, so once you're down here, we're going to go into our hundreds. Something I want to say about these first is with the breaths. I want you to go with a breath that works for you. Everybody's breathing pattern is a little bit different. So two options with this is going to be, actually I'm going to give you three options. All right. So you can do breathing in for 5 times, little sippy breaths in, it'll be, and then out, little sippy exhales out, like 5 in, 5 out. Or you could do 4 in. Some people have a hard time bringing 5 in, so 4 in and then 4 out. And then the third option, just not to make it too complicated, but I just want you to know that you can go with your breath, would be 4 in and 6 out. The nice thing about that one is for perfectionists, it keeps it to be 10 breaths for each inhale and exhale. And so we go through that 10 times and you get to your 100. But I'm not so concerned with that. I really just want you to go with a breath that works for you. So that's the first note. Now the second note is modified with these. You could keep your head down. If you have any sort of neck sensitivities, you could keep your knees bent like so and, come up like so with these. Or you could have your knees bent like this, straight like this, or you're going to follow along with me and bring them down to about a 45-degree angle. Pull that belly button in, engage that core, lift from that sternum. It's like you have an orange between that chin and the chest. All right, and here you are, so your arms will pump like this with your breaths. So let's get started. Sippy breaths in. Last time. Good. Pull those knees into your chest. Gently bring that head down and release everything for a brief break there. Good. Now we're going to go into our roll up. So I'm going to start with the modified on this one. So modified, I'm going to start with the legs straight, arms overhead, and As we start coming up, so we're going to start by inhaling as we come up vertebrae by vertebrae, and at the part that I know is going to be the most difficult, I'm going to engage that pelvic floor to cue that deep inner core and start my exhale, and I'm also going to bend those knees. All right, and you can trace your hands along the knees here, and then we're going to straighten those legs and reach forward as far as we can. Exhale all that air out, pull that belly button in towards the spine, and then reverse that. And when you're going back down, you can bend those knees again to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Even if you don't usually do that modified and you're doing, say, an early morning Pilates workout, you might have tighter back, and that really works well for it. All right, so we're gonna go in. I'm gonna do without the bent knees, and we're gonna do this 10 times. So inhale as you start to come up, vertebrae by vertebrae. At that hardest point, engage that pelvic floor to cue that deep inner core, and start your exhale. And pull that belly button in towards the spine as you reach forward as far as you can. Get a good stretch here. Exhale all that air out. Pull that belly button in, and then start reversing it. I can never say enough to people to honor that part of the movement. It's just as important as the part where you're coming up. All right, so make sure that each time you're exhaling all that air out, you're trying to reach further each time. You're pulling that belly button in, and then reversing that motion. Good. So to be nice and proper here, you want those arms to stay by the ears. However, I will say that it is a nice flow, and some days it's just really nice to do the arms reaching. So the main thing I want you to do if you do reach the arms throughout, instead of keeping them by the ears, is just make sure you're not, trying to swing them forward and gain momentum to do that. So it's an inhale, engage, start your exhale, pull that belly button in, reach forward, exhale all that air out as you pull that belly button in as far as you can, creating like a stomach vacuum as you do, and then reverse that motion and roll it down vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale, engage, and exhale. Exhale all that air out, reach, reach, reach. Pull that belly button in towards the spine, and rolling it down, nice and controlled. Good. Inhale, engage, and exhale. Reach it forward and pull that belly button in. Exhale all that air out. Very good. And inhale, engage, and exhale. Reach, reach, reach. Pull that belly button in. Try to gain distance with those fingers forward as you reach each time. Good. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, engage, and exhale. Breathe it all out. Pull that belly button in towards the spine, and reverse that back down. Good. 2 more. Inhale, engage, and exhale. Reach it forward, and then bringing it back down vertebrae by vertebrae. And last time, inhale, engage, and exhale. Pull that belly button in, reach it forward, exhale all that air out. Very good. And then reverse that, bring it back down. Very good. All right, so now we're gonna do the single leg stretch starting with bent knee. So pull those knees in to start. I'm gonna show you modified first. Modified, you can keep that head down. So if you have any sort of neck sensitivities, go there. And so we're going to bring one hand on the knee on the inside, and then that outside hand is gonna come to that ankle, the side of the leg here. So you're gonna pull this knee in towards you, 2 little pulses with 2 little exhale breaths out, like, all right? And then you're gonna switch to the other side, and same thing, pulsing that knee in, all right? And then if you want, you're gonna lift that sternum. Remember, keep that distance of like an orange between that chin. You don't want to be straining here. And then bring that knee in and switch. All right, let's do 10 of these. Here's 10 and 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. There. Pull knees in, bring that head down, get a brief break here. All right, now we're gonna do that single leg stretch again, except for this time, we're gonna do it with straight legs. So same modified idea. If you want, you can keep your head down and you can hold this leg behind the hamstring or knee or higher up, wherever you can reach. And then if you're bringing that sternum up, gives you a little bit more reach. Now, part of the work here is straightening those legs. So look at them, don't let the hamstring, don't let it be relaxed and like, yeah, I'm straight leg here. Really straighten those legs like arrows, okay? And so you're going to pull one leg towards you and pulse it in 2 times with 2 little sippy exhales out like this. And then switch. Pull that belly button in, engage that deep inner core. 6 more, 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one there. Good, pull those knees in and gently bring that head down here. Good, from here, we're gonna do our double leg stretch. So I just noticed I probably don't have, I may not have enough room here to bring my arms around. So make sure you have arms distance around you. You're going to bring those knees in. So I always talk about the end of this movement before I go into the beginning, because we're here already with our knees. So I want you to pull the knees in towards your chest. Exhale all the air out and pull that belly button in. Now your head's down if you're modified here and have neck sensitivities, or you're lifted from that sternum, right? Orange distance between that chin and chest. And so try again, exhale all that air out as you pull those knees in. And you should really feel that work in that core. I really want you to accentuate that when we get here. So this move is not all just about where we come out here to a 45-degree angle. Reach, reach, reach as you inhale, and then you exhale as you bring it all in. And really exhale everything out and pull that belly button in as you pull those knees in towards you. All right, so we're gonna do 10 of these. Reach out to 45-degree angle. Big inhale as you reach, 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 and then exhale all that air out as you pull those knees in. Pull that belly button in as you do. All right, here's 9. Big inhale and pull it in. Good. And here's 8 and pull it in. And 7. Inhale and reach, 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 and exhale, pull it in and pull that belly button in. Exhale all that air out. And here's 6. And 5. Inhale out and exhale in. And 4. Inhale out and exhale in. 3 more. Inhale out and exhale in. 2 more. Inhale out and exhale in. And last one, inhale out and exhale in. Pull it in, exhale all that air out, and then just gently bring that head down to the mat. All right, so next we're gonna go into our crisscross, and I like to start out with 10 slow, and then for fun we'll do 10 fast. So down for modified, you could keep your head down on the mat. You could also stay with your arms behind the head and still keep that head down, and then you're just gonna bicycle those legs And you could crisscross by staying down here, or you're gonna lift from that sternum, all right? And one leg goes out to 45, knee pulls in, and you're going to twist towards that bent knee, and then switch to the other side. So let's do 10 of these nice and slow. Here's 10, and 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now we're going to do 10 fast. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull those knees in and gently bring that head down. Relax everything with those knees in for the moment. And then we're going to bring our palms down just beside our hips here. We're going to straighten our legs here, and we're going to go into a corkscrew. We're going to make it about the size of a volleyball. So what this is going to look like is, if you look to your toes right now, I want you to imagine, so if they're parallel or perpendicular to the floor, they're at the top of a volleyball. I want you to slide them about a volleyball size to the side, circle them down around the volleyball, come back up to the top of the volleyball, then switch to the other side and up. All right, so pull those knees in for a second. Because I sometimes get long-winded with stuff, so I'll give you a break for a second while I just explain. So when you're doing this, I want you to think, so you're gonna go around one way and then you come back the other way, but I want you to think about synchronizing your breath into it, right? So you're here and you're gonna inhale and then exhale as you bring it to the top. Inhale half around and then exhale to the top. All right, so you can do this at the pace that works for your breath. All right, so really straight legs, that's part of the work. Straighten, straighten, straighten. Pull that belly button in. And we're gonna do 10 of these, 5 each way. So circle it down, and other way, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good. And pull those knees in, release those muscles, relax for a moment. All right, we're gonna roll onto our stomachs now and do some swimming. So from your stomach, you're gonna bring your arms out to about shoulder width apart, palms down, feet about hip width apart. And I'm just looking at the mat. For these, let's look at the mat today. Look, we're not gonna look up. You're gonna look down towards the mat and your nose is just above the mat. So I want you to think about pulling that belly button in and then engaging that pelvic floor. So that's kind of like a kegel, that cues the deep inner core, and you're pulling that belly button in as well. And then you're going to lift one arm and opposite leg. So right now I've got my right arm and opposite leg, and then I'm gonna bring it down. So again, before you lift, engage that deep inner core. So cue that by engaging that pelvic floor. Pull the belly button in and exhale as you lift, and inhale down. Engage, lift, and down. We're alternating sides here. So engage, lift, and lower. Engage, lift, and lower. Engage, lift, lower, engage, lift, lower. Keep going with this. And I just want you to make sure you're not being jerky with this. You're not trying to bring it too high. This is not a competition about how high you can go. I want it nice and controlled, nice and smooth. I want each time you're actually thinking about engaging that deep inner core before you lift. And nice and controlled. Good. We've got 10 more. Here's 10, and 9, 8, and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one there. Good. Relax that for a moment and then push back into child's pose. Open up that lower back. Relax those muscles for a moment. Deep breath in. And exhale slowly out. One more time, deep breath in. And exhale slowly out. Very good. Let's come back down to our stomachs, back down to that same position. Now this time I want us to lift all 4 limbs at the same time. Not super high, not jerky, very nice and smooth. And I want you to think first about that form. So pull that belly button in, engage that pelvic floor to cue the deep inner core, and exhale as you lift both hands and both feet just about an inch or 2 off the ground, and then lower with control. Engage that core and exhale as you lift, nice and controlled, not trying to go too high, and then lower. Engage and lift and lower. Engage and lift and lower. So engage means engaging that pelvic floor to cue that deep inner core. Also pull the belly button in and exhale then as you lift and lower. Engage and lift and lower. Engage and lift and lower. Engage, lift and lower. One more time. Engage and lift and lower. And then bring your palm of your hands back to your shoulder and push back once again into child's pose. And push those hips back. Relax that lower back. And then let's take some deep breaths into this. Big inhale in. And exhale out. And inhale in. And exhale out. One more big inhale in. And exhale out. Good. Now we're going to bring it up. And we're going to start with can here. So for this, I want you to prop yourself up so your arms are behind, like so, in a position that's not strenuous on those wrists. You could have your fingers pointed out like this. They don't necessarily have to be back. They don't necessarily have to be forward, but go for a position that's comfortable for you to prop yourself up. And then I want you to think about those shoulders. Don't be dropped in the shoulders like this. I want you to reach that head nice and long, right? Nice long neck, chest lifted, belly button in. Now, feet here. As long as you don't get any foot cramping. If you get any sort of like toe cramps or cramps, just keep your feet flat for this. Otherwise, I want you to come to full point here, chest lifted, belly button in, and you're going to drop your knees to one side and then the other side. And then when you come back to this side, you're going to straighten them. So it's 1, 2, and on the third, you straighten. 1, 2, and straighten. 1, 2, 3 with the straighten. And 1, 2, 3, straighten. 1, 2, 3, straighten. And 1, 2, 3, straighten. 1, 2, 3, straighten. One more each way. 1, 2, 3, straighten, and one more time. 1, 2, 3, and straighten. Good. And then I want you to come sit like so. So we're going to start. You'll probably sit with your most comfortable side first because that's where you'll naturally go. It doesn't matter because we're going to do both sides. So start, you start like this, and then you just bend both knees one way. And then we're going to bring one arm down, and we're going to reach over, and we're just going to stretch all the way through the side of that abdominal wall, all right? So you start your stretch, and then once you've been here a few moments, I want you to relax, and you can bend this arm a little bit to go a little bit further, deepen into that stretch. And then I want you to engage that deep inner core to bring it up. You'll switch to the other side and reach over here. Same thing. Once you've been here a few moments, I want you to relax those muscles to try to sink deeper into that stretch. Good, and we're gonna try one more each way. So go back to the other side and get into that stretch. And once you've been here a few moments, then relax those muscles to try to sink deeper into it. Good, engage that core to bring it up and switch to the other side. Reach it over and then relax those muscles to try to sink deeper into that stretch. Good, engage that core to bring it up, and then we're gonna switch that to the other side with the legs. So switch. So depending on which side you start on, if you start on a more comfortable side, this might feel a little bit more awkward. So we're gonna bring one hand down and reach the other arm over and really trying to lengthen through the side of that abdominal wall. Once you've been here a few moments, relax those muscles to try to sink a little bit deeper into that. Good, engage that core to bring it up and then switch to stretch to the other side. And once you've been here a few moments, try to relax those muscles to sink deeper into that stretch. And then switch back to the other side. Stretch the side of the abdominal wall, so obliques. Relax to let yourself sink deeper into it. And then engage that core to bring it up and reach it over. Relax those muscles to sink deeper into that stretch. And then bring it up. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me for this workout. I hope you enjoyed it. And, this is the kind of workout you could come back and do every day if you wanted to. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Come back for more. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.